How does that work, Dana? Because I see a lot of people, like, people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but what's, like, isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you don't
boxing
thing? You don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
You hear a guy going, I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters.
Either way, the last thing you nearly need in your life is for things to go wrong, and you were showing off how you were a big shot financially when you didn't have to, really. You didn't have to do that. And now you have this egg on your face, and things are falling apart. And now people are wondering, did you get screwed, or was it your own financial ignorance?
Now, he's accused in multiple lawsuits, all right, of owing millions for luxury watches, gold, and rent as well on the apartment that we just talked about, okay? And so he's got about, I counted about 6 lawsuits.
Dana White criticizes Floyd Mayweather Jr., saying that pursuing another fight with Manny Pacquiao is driven purely by money. He calls the decision sad and questions Mayweather's financial condition.
Do what they got to do and say what they got to say to try to, to get in there and make money. It's not even going to be funny. It's going to be bad.
Logan Paul claims that Floyd Mayweather still hasn't fully paid him for their exhibition fight. This raises concerns about Mayweather's current financial situation and obligations.
Ended up doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid me. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He fucking smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million. That company that paid him that money is suing him. I actually don't know the status on that lawsuit. I should check in because he still owes me money, but he has a bunch of legal trouble at the moment. That I don't think I'm ever getting the money.
He just sold his house in Vegas.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I think he's facing a bunch.
Rinsed on that house. He started at $14 million. He custom built the house, by the way, in like 2006.
Yeah.
Started at 14, reduced to 12,
yeah.
10, 8 came on the market, and it was a lot of house.
Dana White states that Floyd earned massive wealth during his career, with his biggest payday coming from the fight against Conor McGregor.
Biggest fights you've ever had?
Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, which ironically is a boxing event, but it's the biggest combat sports fight ever.
What did that gross?
It did 4.4 or 4.5 million buys at $100 a buy.
Yeah, so that worked out okay.
According to Wade Plemons, Floyd mismanaged his early wealth. After his prime ended, he returned repeatedly to boxing through exhibition fights to recover money.
Way back, again, 5 years ago now, but that was like the initial rumblings around that fight. And what Floyd did was use Mayweather Promotions to bring them this fight and say, if you'll front us this money, we'll put this fight here. They fronted him the money. He took the money, had the fight at the Hard Rock in Miami with Fanmio instead. That was the company that put it on, Fanmio. And Logan saw none of that front end 10 mil, and the people that paid Floyd the 10 mil never saw a dime back. It's nasty work what he did. But this has been like one of Floyd's MOs, is that he leverages his fight name or his quote unquote assets, and which is what, a lot of wealthy people do. They leverage their assets to take out bigger loans or, whatever. But Floyd does it in such a reckless way that no one ever sees return on it. He just takes money. It isn't a loan.
Joe Rogan says Floyd Mayweather spent his fortune carelessly. He lived an extremely lavish lifestyle and treated his income as if it were endless, which may have led to financial pressure.
Crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself like draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
They trying to keep up.
Yeah, which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. He was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know?
No
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
Fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him, like
flying economy. He was sleeping at the stadium.
Teddy Atlas explains that many people feel a sense of satisfaction seeing Floyd struggle now because he spent years flaunting his wealth and making others feel jealous.
Shots at a great fight of Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall. Potentially.
You're right.
Fall. Oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over at Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the landscape made...
Dan Raphael says the current financial concerns around Floyd Mayweather Jr. are not surprising. Anyone paying attention to his career and lifestyle could have predicted this outcome. Floyd consistently showcased a luxury lifestyle filled with private jets, expensive cars, designer items, and high-end vacations. These displays were constant and became a major part of his public identity.
Contact my people again later, and hopefully I can get it this afternoon to actually read the specifics of the suit and what the allegations are. But the fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, I mean, that's like a money pit. I mean, whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first class hotels, or you're buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. I mean, it's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money doesn't,
This kind of lifestyle may create an image of success, but it also raises concerns about long-term financial sustainability. Dan Raphael explains that maintaining such a lifestyle becomes difficult after retirement, when income slows down. Without proper financial planning, even massive earnings can diminish over time. The issue is not how much money was earned, but how it was spent and managed. Now, with reports of financial pressure and continued exhibition fights, the situation reflects those earlier concerns and highlights the importance of smart financial decisions.
Allegations about the 340 million, it just didn't ring true to me, because Al Heyman, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I mean, I've known Al Heyman and covered Al Heyman's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in like 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been. That type of money that they've helped him make, and the person that he's paid, and the guidance that he's offered.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. was once known for constantly displaying luxury and projecting an image of endless wealth. However, recent developments suggest a different reality. Reports indicate that he has filed a lawsuit worth around $340 million against business partners, claiming he was not properly paid. His relationships with Steven Espinoza and Showtime played a major role in building his success.
We are going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing to pay.
This situation raises serious questions about financial management, contract transparency, and long-term planning. What once appeared to be complete financial control now seems more complex. It shows that even highly successful careers can face uncertainty when business dealings are unclear.
Represents the $500K, $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took but never paid.
Coach Malachi explains that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is involved in a $340 million dispute with Steven Espinoza and Showtime. He suggests that the structure of the contracts may have protected certain individuals, such as Al Heyman, from legal responsibility, depending on how the agreements were written.
That's in the contract. Guess what? Al Heyman is clear. And now it explains why Floyd don't have Al Heyman in the lawsuit. He can't sue him. Come on, man. Al covered his tracks. Now, he may be getting sued by big corporations, stuff like that, but he's not being sued by any fighter. They can't sue him. You get what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather messed up. And adds insult to injury, Floyd Mayweather has a gambling problem and he spends a lot of money. He loves to spend money. So whatever he have that's in his possession, he's spending that and blowing that on top of the $340 million that he said that's owed to him. Meaning that he never really got paid from the Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor fight. Come on, man. Al Heyman got power of attorney. You dig? And he covered his tracks. So shout out to the brother man, Al Heyman. You did a good job.
The discussion highlights how complex financial agreements in boxing can protect key figures from legal consequences.
Ren, you've been praising him and worshiping him. Continue to praise him and worship him then. You get what I'm saying? You dig? True. And another thing, let's thank Al Heyman.
Well, you know, I guess I gotta be like everybody else and thank Al Heyman.
That's what y'all been doing. You pro Al Heyman and PBC YouTube channels, and a lot of you fan bases online. That's what you've been doing. Continue to praise him, Ben. Al is a smart businessman. He finessed the game. Let's give Al Heyman a round of applause. Good job, Al. You did a good job. And this is a lesson to all of those out there, you know, who think because you signed with the black man that you will not be taken advantage of and the white man is the evil devil. If that's your position, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with however you feel either way. But just understand, when someone wants to steal from you, they don't recognize.
Malachi points out that Floyd's heavy spending habits, including gambling and luxury expenses, also play a role. He suggests that both contract structures and personal financial decisions have contributed to the current situation.
Too distracted, spending. And when you see somebody like Floyd Mayweather, that's the oldest trick in the book, y'all. Y'all know. When y'all see somebody flogging money everywhere, they got this, they got that, they got this. Was it Gervonta Davis? Tank told us 2 years ago that the reason they held Floyd Mayweather, you can put it back on the screen, captain, in Dubai is because he had owed them money and they wouldn't release him until he announced the fight to give them their money back. You know they do that over there in Dubai, right? You ain't going nowhere if you owe a debt. He was trapped over there for almost 2 months, according to Giovante. They shared the same manager, Al Layman, who collected money in cash because Floyd Mayweather gave him a power of attorney to do so. And so when Floyd went down there and sued Showtime, he's suing Showtime, the company, the network, that publicizes these fights.
Tasha K explains that high earnings do not always guarantee financial security. Hidden obligations, ongoing deals, and delayed payments can create problems that are not visible to the public. These unseen pressures can gradually put anyone in a difficult position.
Gave his money in cash to his manager, Al Layman, and Al Layman spent the money. The Muslim in the bow tie spent the money. You see a man coming and he a Muslim in a bow tie, he's spending your money. Oh, it's gone. It's good as gone. You know they send the Nation of Islam down there. You seen the Muhammad Ali story? Don't act like you ain't seen that. Nation of Islam was all up over there. They were all up over Floyd Mayweather's fights and bank accounts and stuff. And so he received it in cash, and Floyd Mayweather is saying he's missing it, and how dare Showtime gives him the money without his permission. He was like, well, wait a minute, but you gave him permission. Yeah, but I didn't tell y'all, I told him. So he's trying to use a way to get in there so he can hold him responsible, because he know he's not going to get the money back from the Nation of Islam at all. That money gone. That money gone.
She highlights a common financial trap: spending freely while responsibilities quietly build up. Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s lifestyle may give the impression of unlimited wealth, but in reality, high expenses and commitments require continuous cash flow. When income slows, financial pressure increases. This shows that wealth depends not only on earning, but also on proper management over time.
How much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was, because he wasn't complaining. He was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private, you know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why. First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly, and they don't ask you for.
That happens either way.
And they don't ask you. Well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely they confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral. Their kid.
Paulie Malignaggi explains that much of the scrutiny comes from how openly Floyd displayed his wealth. If he had kept his finances private, fewer people would question his situation. His luxury image became a central part of his identity.
Honestly, but offhand, you're asking me what my thoughts are offhand. I can never listen. When I had a lot of money, I was a lot of times spending more, and I wasn't tracking every single cent, right? I was kind of reckless. I was young. I was, a pro athlete. I went from having nothing to having a bunch of money. So yeah, I'm not always tracking it as well as I should. But bro, if I'm missing a lot of difference money, if there's a huge difference, I'm gonna track it automatically just because it's so obvious. 340 million, no matter how much money you're making, 340 million does not slip through the cracks like you said.
Third of $1 billion.
It's not, I don't know, like there's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend 20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what? I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went with my friend to go check out a Ferrari.
While this visibility helped build his brand, it also made any change in financial stability highly noticeable. Now, people question his financial decisions, investments, and long-term planning. When someone creates an image of endless wealth, any shift becomes obvious. Malignaggi believes that financial privacy could have reduced this scrutiny, but now every move is closely analyzed.